2, 3. Thank you.
That's a lot better.
That was,
Thank you,
that was like an
everybody.
8.9.
You're making us look dumb. First time at MLG.
All right, we're in the game now. We can go ahead and cue that up on screen here. Over here in the blue, we have MMA bottom left. Over here in the bottom right, we have Losira.
Yes, we do. The map, Shakura's Plateau, chosen by MMA. And I do believe that we'll probably see a 2 barracks opening, a little bit of pressure. And that's just, it's a great build on this map. So many Terrans have that as their fallback.
Yeah, sometimes we see the 2 barracks put here and here. Then he expands and then puts a 3rd barracks here for a tight wall in. I agree, Artosis. It's a great build to do on a map like this.
Well, you know, it transitions into that expansion so easily. Really puts a lot of pressure on the Zerg. Losira most likely will go for a hatchery first build here. It's just very common at Zerg, and we'll see the little dance that we always do, Tasteless. The drones coming out, chasing away the Marines and SCVs, dancing back and forth, trying not to lose any.
You know, Terran versus Zerg, it's a little bit volatile at the start because a lot can go on that's going to mess up your build order. Terran sometimes sends SCVs with a rush. Sometimes Zerg sends drones to stop the rush. So, you know, you're never going to have a very tight build order in this matchup if this kind of aggression occurs.
Well, look at this, Tasteless. A refinery going up. He is not, in fact, going to go for a standard 2 barracks pressure. I'm actually really interested to see what he does here. Could it be Reaper? Is it going to be fast tech? Just don't know.
I don't know either. You know, the Reaper could just hop off here, you know, cruise across the map and then hop up into this point here. You know, Reaper's not as popular as they were during the beta because they did get a little bit of a nerf, rightfully so.
That is right, Tasteless. But still, Reaper is quite useful against hatchery first play. As long as Zerglings don't have speed, you can kite them for days and days and days. Now, Losira is keeping his drone in the main base, trying to watch for any add-on. Notice how he's sitting right where that add-on would go. Now he's moving. He's like, all right, go ahead, make the add-on then. I want to see it.
Wall in, now complete. And with this drone now trapped in here, Losira wants to keep this alive for as long as humanly possible so we can see anything else that's going on inside the base.
And
nice control by MMA.
Drone not going down quite yet. I thought he was going to die already, but there he goes.
SCV now dipping in here. He does see the spawning pools on the way. Losira droning pretty hard right now.
That is quite right, Tasteless. Now a factory going down for our Terran player. I really wonder what he's going to do with this. You know, normally if you go factory, nowadays we've seen a lot of people go gas first to really get those Hellions out quickly. And there's only one gas still, so I still think it's going to be Hellions.
Yeah, you know, we didn't really get to see the full effect of his Hellion build in the previous game. And frankly, we didn't get to really see the real MMA there. Losira did a few neat little tricks and basically didn't even allow MMA to execute any strategies.
Certainly, Tasteless. And oh, look at that. We have a tech lab. Very well could be Blue Flame Hellions. We have seen some really great timings in the GSL with Blue Flame Hellions on this map, using those small ramps up to the expansion as a natural choke point and just really frying Lings with it.
All right, so it is going to be Blue Flame Hellions. Artosis was correct. Well done, Artosis. He may get a second factory. We'll see, though. No refinery taken yet, and that might change in a second here as he builds that. You know, Hellions have been used more and more as of late.
It was the same way in Starcraft 1, Tasteless. No one thought the Vulture was any good for years and years and years. And then it became basically the best unit in the game.
Yeah, it was actually kind of a funny thing when people finally realized that spider mines, you know, 3 spider mines and, you know, the fastest unit in the game and something that could kill workers in 2 hits. You know, for 75 minerals is quite good. We're seeing a similar thing here with the Hellion now.
Yeah, Hellions really nice at killing the small units. And just the fact that they're so fast lets a player that's really talented use them to their full potential.
It's interesting to note he did not get a second factory, so what he's really going to do with these Hellions is not try to fly in here, kill every single drone. What he wants to do is try to kill up the creep tumors, you know, take out Zerglings at the Zelnaga watchtowers. You know, he wants to just control the map.
It's quite true, Tasteless. Those Marines take out the Zerglings. Losira keeps sending Zerglings to try to scout out the expansion. There is an orbital that just finishes now inside the main base of MMA. And it looks like he's just waiting for Blue Flame to finish. He does have 3 Hellions, and out they go.
Now switching into siege mode here, we're probably going to see a lot of stim Marines with siege tanks doing that standard Terran push. He's moving out. Back here in the Zerg's base, we have a Baneling nest and an evolution chamber.
A lot of Zerglings have been made tasteless. A couple Banelings on the way for defensive purposes, and the Blue Flames, here they come. Will Losira flank or counterattack? We will see in a moment.
The Hellions trying to do a little bit of damage here. He's going to get flanked.
Oh, very nice. Waits for those Banes and hits two of the Hellions. Down they all go. Very little damage done by those Hellions. Much less than MMA really wanted.
Losira is looking pretty damn good right now.
22 Zerglings on the way, +1 melee on the way. Looks like he wants to do some very aggressive moves. And, well, MMA very smartly pulls up his ramp. He's going to want to raise that wall, and as he just did, siege mode is on the way, but not there quite yet. Oh, we are going to see a Baneling bust tasteless.
He's going to try to wreck the entrance. These are supply depots. They don't have a lot of hit points here. He can just bleed into there with all the Banelings and Zerglings and potentially overrun MMA. Meanwhile, another expansion coming up over here in the upper right.
Oh, Losira is so sick, tasteless. This guy is all over the place, and here he comes. Wants to dodge those Marines from shooting the Banelings. One goes down, two goes down, and kind of damaging everything. Will the Zerglings break through? No SCVs up here, and he gets into the base, tasteless, surrounding the siege tanks. If he can take those out, then he can continue attacks like this. Takes one out, but it looks like the other one probably will live. Definitely will live.
You know, it's funny. Had that extra Baneling gotten in there instead of being killed off and gotten near the depot, it would have been an extra second of Zergling damage, which could have changed the outcome of this game. But in this case, it looks like MMA is going to get off a little bit easier.
Yeah, that could have gone a lot better for Losira if he had pulled the Banelings over to the left a bit more, maybe gone in, targeted a depot. Things could have gone his way dramatically. But we do have right now Losira sending some Zerglings to kill those rocks. That's kind of interesting.
I think he may want to be able to flank the Terran if the Terran pushes out from here. Let's take this point where the Marine is. If he walks out from this angle, tearing down the destructible rocks here and here will allow him to do that. We'll see if that's actually the plan from him.
You know, sometimes people do gully pushes on this map as well, so he will have access to that area to stop such a thing. Don't want any shenanigans going on, tasteless.
No, you don't. Either way, Losira in pretty good shape. If we look at the worker count here, 48 drones to 38 drones, so a 10 worker increase. Do not forget that mules are in the game. They're pretty good, so it's not completely uneven as far as economics goes.
Quite true. We do have a layer on the way, and I'm really interested. Losira just keeps making lings right now. He does have some Banelings as well. But what is his plan? There are siege tanks with siege mode. Baneling attacks don't really work that well against high ground siege tanks. So, we're going to have to see. I think he's going to get aggressive again, though.
Well, you know, he's got a good amount of the map right now. Terran, they generally take this expansion next. It's just more accessible. But after that, it can be a little bit tough. You can take this location, but the farther Terran tends to push out, the more difficult things start to become.
Well, we have a lot of drones being made right now. More gas is being taken. I wonder, will there be a Nidus? Will there be drops? I'm kind of feeling like there could be one of those. You know, he's just focusing so heavily on these Zerglings and Banelings, and attacking into a front door full of siege tanks would not be smart. Other than that, he doesn't really need these Zerglings right now.
More and more creep tumors coming out here. The Queen out here, you always want to get, hold that thought, that we have a medevac drop.
A lot of Zerglings, this will be very easy for him to deflect. That medevac's just going to fly away. Now that medevac harassment is out, oh, wow, tasteless. Look at the production tab right now, if you could. Look at that. Burrow, Baneling speed, +2 melee, and Roach speed. So it looks like Roach Bane coming for Losira. MMA smartly taking out some of those Banelings right there. Not really sure why they were sitting over there.
Yeah, I don't know the story with those Banelings. Anyways, it looks like Losira is really not going to be touched in this game. Note Losira not really getting a Spire right away here. He's not going to get a Spire. Instead, he's going to try to just control with low-tier Baneling, Zergling, stuff like that. Now it's time for Terran to push.
Well, I don't know if I like this push. 16 Banelings being morphed right now, 6 Roaches as well, a bunch of Zerglings. That's going to bring him up to over 30 Lings, about 10 Banes, and some Roach. And this push, it's pretty fearsome. I mean, it has 4 siege tanks in it, so if he targets correctly, it could do quite well. But there's a lot of creep out there, and speed Banes are about to finish.
stimming, wrecking all of these creep tumors here. He wants to back up now and wait for that creep to dissipate. The Zerglings try to come out and push the Marines away. This is what a good Terran player does. He needs to clean up all of this goo on the ground so that the Zerg units cannot move as quickly.
Yeah, the Marines have their mops out. Tasteless pushing that all into a pile. We have a lot of roaches being made, a lot of Zerglings being made. It looks like he just wants to overwhelm and play the swarm style that we've seen him do so many times, both here and at the GSL.
MMA, I think, probably scanned, sees how intimidating this army is, and says, wait a minute, this is probably not a good idea. Backs up. He may go for a third base. No, excuse me, he's going to push again. This is pretty serious. And then, as I say, that he expands.
Well, it looks like he is expanding. You know, one thing that Losira has to watch out for, until he has Mutalisks, really, if this was Slayer's Boxer instead of MMA, there would be siege tanks up on these little high ground areas, and he would just be pushing in like a madman. So Losira really has to watch out for moves like that right now.
Also, MMA needs to be careful of, you know, how many times he's going to stim in the situation. There are not a lot of medevacs compared to the number of Marines that are out and about right now. Look at Losira, man. He's at 180 supply, and we have a drop coming down over here. This may be here to distract the Zerg so that a push can happen in the front.
Yeah, it certainly could be Tasteless. He probably wants to snipe anything he can as well. Now, Losira does have that +2 melee attack. Looks like he's going to attack in, but there is a siege tank on the high ground now. That's going to be very problematic. A ton of roaches coming in. He's taking huge amounts of damage without really doing any quite yet. And there are too many siege tanks. Losira cannot continue with this attack.
Here comes a drop over here. Losira seems to have painted himself into a corner, if you will. A totally bizarre maneuver here. Now he's going into the main. I think Losira definitely... Oh my God.
May kill a lot of SCVs here, but the amount of units he's losing, this is not really an acceptable trade at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, he does get all the SCVs.
Now we do have that drop going after the Baneling Nest, Tasteless, and if he gets the Baneling Nest after losing all the Banelings, Losira is going to have a very weak spot in his defense, and MMA smartly moving out. It is time to attack. He can't make any more Banelings. All he has is some Mutas and some Zerglings on the way.
Another scan here from MMA. It does not look like Losira's going to have whatever it takes to take this on. Too many siege tanks, Marines, Marauders, and medevacs. An attack here from Losira. He will lose this battle.
There are only about 6 Banelings out on the map right now, and it looks like MMA may be able to tie up this series. All he has to do is get up onto this natural area, and in fact, he's dropping behind it as well, taking out some Mutas, taking out some drones, flanking now. The Roach Warren goes down. All he can make at this point are Zerglings, and even though a lot of these Marines have been stimmed a lot and are very weak, too much, and GG. Tying it up 1-1.
That was a very exciting game. I got to be critical of Losira, though. What was that attack?
It was bad.
That was bad.
Yeah, that was ill-advised.
That just cost him the game.
When you have that many siege tanks spread so well, you have some on the high ground, you have Marines ready to stim forward, attack, and then run back. A Roach Baneling army, as Czech could tell you, not really going to work out that well.
No, certainly not. We're going to cut to a commercial here. We'll be back in a little bit with the final deciding game between MMA and Losira. Stay tuned.